Welcome to World of Ability. This is our flagship program with the World of Ability Podcast Network. So glad to have you joining us. My name is Sue Roskoff, and we are here every Saturday from 1 to 3 p.m. Central. And boy, do we have a lineup for you today. I am so excited for our very first guest because we had the pleasure of getting to know him a bit on Wednesday when he was a guest with us on the radio show. But this is going to be a lot of fun. This is Russ Hedge. He is an inspirational speaker, and he is here to inspire and encourage. He's been a marketing coach with over 30 years of sales and marketing success in several different industries, and he can help you to be successful in your business by helping you to truly connect. The secret is building community through authentic connection, and boy, do I love that phrase, building community through authentic connection. That really is where transformation takes place. And Russ, I am so happy you're here. Welcome.
Well, Sue, it's so great to be back with you. Thank you very much. What a blessing it was. And being on with you again is great.
Awesome. Do you want to just dive in a bit more? Because there's so much rich history that you can share with us here. I wonder if you want to just start with what is some background with what I know. I just mentioned a bit about business-wise what you're all doing. You want to start there, and then I know you got some more personal pieces here that I would love to talk about too. But you want to go ahead and start with your business background a bit more.
Okay, well, I will do that, but I want to just first off say that for me, it always starts with God and then my beautiful wife and family who bless me, that give me the ability to move forward and do amazing things with my business. I have also, which I'll talk more about later, been going through a cancer journey the last several years. And so that has transformed and adjusted the way that I look at things. But it has been such a blessing to be able to reach out, inspire, and encourage so many people because of things that I've gone through. I've been able to encourage people not only through their personal life, but through their business walk. And I have, like I said before, it's been well above 30 years, probably above 35 years now of sales and marketing experience. I'm getting older all the time. I am 61 years young and love every bit of it. Thankful to God for the life that I've had, been able to work for some great companies, larger corporations, smaller business, and then been able to go into my own business. So about the time, what was 2019, and I was having coffee with a good friend of mine at the New Morning Bakery in Corvallis, Oregon, and we were talking about business, and he said to me, "You know what? You need to develop a new revenue stream. What you need is you need to do some personal marketing coaching since you do that with your team all the time. And then you speak to groups all the time. Look at doing some speaking, some keynote inspirational speaking. And what about doing a podcast? And have you thought about writing a book?" And he just went on and on and go, whoa, whoa, whoa. And so the beautiful thing about that was I started the wheels in motion, got my website, did some things. And guess what happened? Then the new year hits 2020, and a few months into the new year, whammo, the world shuts down because of COVID. Gave me an amazing platform to start my business. My beautiful wife said, if you really feel like God is moving you this direction to do this, which I felt like I was going through this change in my business life, this is the time to do it because you have all the time in the world because everything is stopped. And so it did give me a lot of time to develop and do a lot of great things. So that's where it all started.
And it is all in God's timing, right? The way things come
Amen.
together, we all have that thin thread that we kind of follow as you don't know where things are going exactly, but you know that you're being led in a direction, and then that's where it's like feels like magic happens because it kind of feels that way at times where you're in the right place doing the right things because it does
Yeah.
fall together. And I'm so
Yeah.
happy to hear that that's where things have gone for you. So I know you have a book that well, actually, you've got several books you've written. You want to touch on that and where people can find that too?
Sure. Yeah. It's interesting because part of this whole journey was, I had never thought about writing a book. And when my good friend D. Scott Smith says to me, "Hey, buddy, you should look at writing a book because I know you got more than one book in you." And I'm like, whoa, I haven't even thought about that. Well, when the world shut down, I started my own business. Suddenly, instead of working 12 hours a day, not only did I have time to develop my business, but I had time to write a book. And so within the first 5 months of my business, I wrote and published my first book. It was called Befuddled, Live the Life You Choose. Yes, we have hand motions to all my books. So it's
I
Befuddled,
love that.
Live the Life You Choose. There you go. And it was all about not living life befuddled, out of sorts, but choosing the life that you want to live. And some people would say to me, you know what? I can't choose the life I live. I can't choose what happens to me. And I would say to them, you're exactly right. You can't choose what happens to you, but life happens and then you choose. Then you get to choose what your perspective is, what direction you're going to go. What are you going to do next? And so my good friend Scott said to me, buddy, that's your next book because that is totally, you say that all the time. Well, because of my cancer journey, I had a span in between where I couldn't do as much, but I was asked to write a chapter in four different anthologies. So
Oh,
I did that and I published, well, with the help of others, they actually did the publishing, four other books that I wrote chapters in. And those were all international bestsellers, number one on Amazon, a lot of fun. And so did all that. And then this last year, I finally wrote and published my book, and it's called right there behind me, Life Happens and Then You Choose. That's right. Life happens and then you choose. And it's all about life happening and overcoming challenges and struggles, or how you're dealing with good things and choosing the right path. And so that's what that book's all about. It's available on Amazon. Go to russhedge.com and that'll bump you to Amazon. My author page has all my books on Amazon, and so does my website at russhedge.com. So that's a good place to go. If you want encouragement, I recommend it.
actually, I'm going to go ahead and bring your website up because here we go. Can you see my screen okay?
I see screen. Yes, there it is. Look at that.
So this
That
is
is my web.
russhedge.com.
Yes, perfect. And what's beautiful about that now, usually when you go to it, the first thing it will do, it'll pop up a pop-up that will
Mhm.
allow you to go directly to Amazon for the book.
Which I think
But
I already
you,
had bypassed that because I had pulled this up first and I wanted to get to oh, let's see here. You know what? Let me do one more thing so it pops back up for us.
yeah, actually, you know what? It only pops up once a day. So once you bypass it, it won't happen.
I
But if
missed
you go
it.
up to where it says, go up to buy book on the top, and so that will give you all the information in my book. So as you scroll down, there's a button on each one to buy. So there's Life Happens, and then you choose, and all the other books will be listed there. That'll take you directly to Amazon. There you go. Yep.
Awesome.
Yes, and what a
I love it.
blessing. It's been really quite an adventure to be able to share and inspire people in so many ways through coaching, through speaking, through writing the books, and then also I have I write a weekly newsletter on LinkedIn, and there's lots of great information on my website. So as you go down through those, you'll see the other books. It's just loading slowly, but all the pictures of the books would show up and all of that as well, sooner or later the time.
Yeah, I
But
think with
yeah,
I'm taxing my computer a little bit hard here. Sorry.
no, it's fine. It's fine. So that's exactly it. There's a whole tab up there. My newsletter on my cancer story. Lots of really good podcasts on those things. So yeah, there's lots of good things. You can check that out. There's also workshops that I do and testimonials. Just pretty straightforward. And yeah, lots of fun stuff. So go to russhedge.com. You see it right there. And it will take you to all that. Plus, you can also connect directly with me. So people, there you go. There's some stuff on my cancer story, some things that I did. Talks all about it. And if you scroll down, there's more things there too. But of course, those have to load. There you go. And so, yeah, lots of good information. Would you like me to go into that cancer story a little bit?
Actually, do you want to share a bit because I think it's amazing. Your story is unique, and and right here, Mr. Positivity. Attitude means so much. So yeah, why don't you go ahead and share a bit?
Yeah, I just really was blessed by God to be able to keep a good perspective through it all. And, you know, I give God all the glory for that. But, I've been able to do that. So not only did I write about it, but I shared with people around the world. And it was amazing what kind of response I got because I was really trying to lift people up and tell them, even in what seems like the worst circumstances, and I ended up at stage 4 melanoma. It had gone from my foot to my groin, to my lungs, to my brain. And so I had several rounds of therapy, immunotherapy treatment. I had a couple surgeries. And then, as of, let's see, a little over a year ago, the treatment that I was taking was actually killing me faster than the cancer was because it was shutting down organs on my body. So I have great doctors. They stopped the treatment, and basically we just trusted God and believed that things would, that I would be healed. And so 10 months later, October of this last year, my scans were completely clean, no sign of cancer. And I just had scans again in January, no sign of cancer again. So that's 2 scans in a row, which is great. And so I'm just so thankful every day for that. And I'm still reaching out and encouraging people with my story.
Awesome. Well, can I ask, how did you first detect that you had an issue? How was that cancer first found?
So the whole thing started with what we thought was a wart on the bottom of my foot. And my beautiful wife looked at it and she goes, "Yeah, I think that's a wart." So I started treating it like a wart, got some wart medicine, put it on there. And then about a month later, I said, "Yeah, I don't think this is a wart." She goes, "Why?" I said, "Because it's about size of a quarter now and it's black." And she's like, "Yeah, I think you need to get to the doctor." So I went into the dermatologist. They immediately biopsied it, came back with invasive melanoma, and told me that I needed to go up and see the doctors at OHSU, schedule the time. I went up there, which is a big hospital in Portland. Amazing, amazing doctors. And they found even more cancer on my foot when I got up there. And so what I ended up doing first was having surgery on the bottom of my foot. So within about a month or so of that, they scheduled and we did surgery where they took out half my foot and then had to rebuild it. Had to, do plastic surgery and everything. Had to borrow skin from other parts of my body to go down there and take care of that. And really, everybody was hoping, well, it's all here localized, and we're hoping that we can just get it and you're done. But they did a check they call lymph node mapping. They map your lymph nodes to see if it traveled and if it went somewhere. And sure enough, it I'd gone to my groin. There was a tumor in my groin in one of the lymph nodes. And so then I had to jump into cancer treatment at that point.
Gotcha. Well, and it's when I think of melanoma, I don't think of a bottom of a foot. That's real. Do they have any reasoning or any thoughts of how that happened?
Well, it's funny because everybody thinks of skin cancer, melanoma as a sun thing. And obviously it
Right.
had nothing to do with the sun on the bottom of my foot. And I also don't lay out in the sun. So yeah, it's just not, I'm a, I am a, I was blonde haired, gray now, but blonde haired, blue eyed Norwegian. So I'm very fair skinned, need to stay out of the sun because too much sun, not a good thing. But it really, what I found out is cancer is cells that are, I call it cells gone wonky, cells that have
Uh-huh.
just like been damaged and they become cancerous. And that's what happened on the bottom of my foot. These cells became damaged and like cancer. And then we went on from there. But that's how it started. It's just like not from being in the sun, but yes, it was definitely still challenging.
And then I know, so we have another friend that's joining us, and I think she's gonna really love hearing a bit about your story here. With can you touch again on your book and the really the purpose behind your book?
Yeah, well, I was so blessed to be able to write this last book, especially because this part had really been on my heart. And I really felt God pushing me that direction this last year to get that done. I always say God's not done with me yet because there's so much to do. And when I really felt like God, nudging me this direction, get this book done, it's important to get this book done. I'm thinking, is that because you're going to be done with me when I get it done? Because I'm at stage 4 right now. And so, but the amazing thing was when I actually published the book, it was the next month that I had the scans that showed no cancer. So that was a blessing. But this book has been such a blessing because it goes through stories in my life, starting with a near fatal car accident when I was 19, where I was cut out of my car by the jaws of life, flown to a trauma hospital on a helicopter, and then done surgery on. And by the skin of my teeth, I survived by the grace of God. And so then it talks about my parents, one who had cancer and then dementia at the end, and my mama had Alzheimer's. Both of them have gone to heaven, but during that time, it was challenging and definitely a struggle at times. And then I talked about my cancer journey because Mama passed away in July and actually now I'm trying to remember what year that was. I think it was 4 years ago. And then I was found that what we thought was a wart on the bottom of my foot that same month. And
Oh,
so crazy that, and my dad also passed away in July. Um, and then that car accident was also in July. So I did an article once on skipping July because I thought maybe we'll just skip over that month because all these things seem to be happening in July. But anyway, it turned out to be just a blessing in disguise because I've been able to really inspire and help people going through struggle, not just cancer, just all kinds of things in life because of that. And so I've been thankful for those opportunities.
amazing. Well, we have a friend that is joining us. Shella Chaudhry is here, and she's a longtime friend of the show. And I'm so glad you're here to be part of this conversation too. You want to go ahead and introduce yourself, please?
No, I'd love to do that. Thank you. It's been a while and I missed you guys. So I'm like, I've got to jump on today. I have a few minutes. My name is Shella Chaudhry and I am a U.S. healthcare advocate, disruptor, and just I love being able to help people. I have a personal mission and it's to leave no one behind, positively impact those that cross my path, and to create win-win partnerships and collaborations with people. And what I do is I represent a nonprofit, and this nonprofit was created solely to provide Americans with healthcare. And we're talking about putting human beings first. Forget about the profit, by giving you everything that you could possibly want in healthcare. We actually give you your respect back, your dignity, and we give you the power to choose. Yeah, so that's what I do. And all at, get this, 50 to 70% less than traditional health insurance. And that's one of the things I love. Yeah. And I could go on, but I just wanted to make it a brief introduction. Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah,
Uh,
because I know. Go ahead.
I was going to say that's amazing, Shella. It's interesting because you see in a lot of the healthcare all driven by money and insurance and different things. But that's just one thing that I love about the hospital that I go to, OHSU in Portland, Oregon.
Yeah.
Great hospital. They put patient care above the
I love.
money.
Yeah.
And I actually referred a friend. She actually got her nose bit off by a dog, and didn't have insurance, and nobody would
Yeah.
take care of
Love that.
her. And we ended up getting her referred up to OHSU, and she told them, "Hey, I have no insurance," and they said, "You know what? Let's take care of you first, and then
Oh
we'll
my
worry
God.
about that later." And
Okay.
they actually got her into emergency surgery right off the bat
Yeah.
and did all that after weeks and weeks of trying to get into doctors that wouldn't take her because of the money. So there are still some good people out
Wow.
there, like
Are.
you, obviously.
You know what? I just have to say, God bless that hospital, those people that run it, because you know what? That's how healthcare was meant to be designed. It was meant to actually provide people with the care they need. And then somewhere along the way, Wall Street got involved and it became all about profits. And that's just, it's disgusting, really. I'm sorry. I could just talk
Yeah.
about this forever. It's terrible. But you know what? We put the human back in human-centered care. And
Yeah.
it's like it's not going to be a good fit for everybody, right? I mean, there's people that have pre-existing conditions and stuff, and they might not qualify for the sharing part of it, but we accept everybody because we do something really incredible. We reprice people's bills, Russ. So when people get a hospital bill or a doctor's bill, there's what they're supposed to be billed, which no one knows. And then there's what they get charged because doctors and hospitals have to fight with insurance companies to get anything. And so our legal team negotiates and writes down the bill by 75%, between 72 to 75%, which is a big deal.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is huge. That
It
is
is
huge.
a
Yeah.
big
Well, that's one thing too that I don't mean to keep touting this hospital, but OHSU, one
deal.
thing that they've done with me is they are always not just we're blessed to have good insurance. So our insurance does cover a lot,
Good.
but we have a high deductible plan, so we do have a chunk we have to pay, and there's other things. And the hospital has really worked with us on that because I don't have the money just to shell out
Right.
all the money for that.
Yeah.
And so not only have they taken payments, but they've discounted and wrote off quite a bit and done things. So they really are patient centered.
I love
And that is, I agree with you. That's the way it should be. And it's not in most healthcare. You're right.
I imagine a world, and I mean, maybe this is just me being like too idealistic, but I imagine there's going to be a time where what I do with impact health sharing, it just goes viral because people are tired. Like right now, I don't know about you, but when I went grocery shopping last week, I was like sticker shock. I'm like, I just bought like a small little amount of stuff. I'm like, how did it get double, triple, right? I mean, people right now are making choices between paying for rent and paying for food. How can they pay for like health insurance on top of that? That is robbing them blind, right? So, yeah, no. Our plans, like I'm just going to say one thing, we're based on age. And so people in their 20s, they start at $73 for singles. And then for members of families of 3+, it's $378. And we go up from there incrementally. And so I encourage everybody to, reach out. Let's see if you're a good fit or we're a good fit for each other, right? Yeah. People need to know. And the only way they get to know about this is through good people like Sue and Kurt and people spreading the word because again, we don't advertise because that costs money. Let's give it back to the people, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, Shelley, you're amazing. You need to connect with me at russedge.com. We need
Okay.
to schedule time to chat because I need to have you on one of my live streams and get the word out.
Oh, thank you. I would love that, Russ. All right. If you don't mind sharing your contact information, dropping it back in the chat, I'll love to do that. And I'll drop mine in too.
All right, great.
Yeah.
Perfect. I love the connections that get made here. It's always, I don't always know who's all coming each week, and it somehow tends to fall together in such a beautiful way like this. I'm so glad you guys are both here because, it's perfect. Yeah, 'cause I absolutely love the piece in what Russ has all been talking about where attitude makes the difference and you get to choose. That whole idea of choosing, I think gets lost on a lot of us along the way because life
Yeah.
hits you and you just react, And do you want to just talk a little bit more about that piece, Russ, and
Yeah.
how that makes all the difference?
Oh my goodness. Well, when I first was diagnosed with cancer, my oncologist, who I quote indirectly in my book, told me that my perspective and attitude was the number one thing going for me. She said that would do more for me than any medicine or treatment they could do. And so it's amazing how God has designed our bodies to actually do a lot of healing themselves. And if our attitude does make a huge difference. I also love, and I write about this in my book, an author and pastor, Chip Ingram. He's got a thing called the divine equation. And what it is circumstances plus perspective equals experience. So when you let your perspective determine what things are after your circumstances have happened, you let that perspective determine how you look at it, your experience is so much better, so much greater than letting your circumstances determine how your experience comes out and what your perspective is. So every day you need to think about that. Yes, we're all going through some challenging times, up and downs, good, bad, but you know what? If you let if you keep a good perspective through it all, it's amazing how much brighter it looks on the other side and what you actually feel about it. That goes back to the old story when you put two people in a room and you ask them afterwards what happened, they come out with two different stories. It's because
Mhm.
they have two different perspectives of what happened. That's exactly what it's all about.
Yeah, I totally make me think about that whole concept of, message sent versus message received, and the awareness and all that goes into that. That I love that piece. There's a cartoon I have at work that has a couple people standing at the beach, and there's a number 6 in the sand, and the one person standing there looking at it's like, it's a 6. This is a 6, and the other person happens to be standing on the other side and says, no, it's a 9. And it all depends on where you stand at a moment and what perspective you have, because you can be looking at the same thing and seeing something totally different. So that's
Yeah.
where you got to have a bit of grace for others, because where they're standing at and looking at something, it really makes a difference. And it's
And,
okay. It's not that one's wrong, one's right. It's just where you're standing at that moment is different.
and I think that's how Shella comes out with all that she's doing because her perspective is we can make a difference. We
Yeah.
can make a change in what's going on. She's not just sitting around complaining about stuff. She's thinking, let's change the way it's done. Let's flip the script and let's do things in a positive manner rather than the way things are happening currently.
It's funny. I used to get in trouble for that when I was younger, when I was a teenager, when I decided to not do things the way that I was supposed to do them. But you know what? I love it. I love the fact that, there are options out there, and there are people that they're willing to have the courage to put together organizations or nonprofits and solutions for people's problems. And I'm just someone who's blessed to be able to spread the word. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I
You know
think
what?
you're doing great. I think you're doing great stuff. And I definitely think we need more of that because when we just buy into, when people accept the premise that they're given,
Mm,
then things stay the same. And a lot of times when things are challenging and not good, that's not a good situation. When you challenge that and say, you know what, I don't accept that premise. I actually believe this, and I think we can do something. But it takes people like you, Shella, that are willing to do something constructive and positive to make a difference. Because a lot of people will just sit around and whine and complain. Okay, sure, that may not be good, but you just sitting around complaining about it is not going to do anything.
Not going to do
Yeah.
anything. I appreciate that, Russ. Really, I do. Thank you for that acknowledgement. But I love this. I've missed you, Sue. I have been trying to
You
get back.
too.
I've been trying to get back here for the last month and a half, and today was the day. And I'm so happy to have met you, Mr. Russ Hedge, and to hear more about your story. You did say something about perspectives that I actually learned that yeah, there's not just my perspective, there's whoever's involved in a situation, and then there's what's really happened. And I went through this a couple of weeks ago with family.
Hmm.
They had their perspective, and I'm like, that's not what happened. And thank God for personal development. Thank God for growth, and thank God that, we have yeah, there's such a thing as personal growth and development to teach you these things, because otherwise you'd be like the sheep, the massive people out there that don't know, right?
Right.
And I
Yeah.
probably shouldn't say sheep, but there is a majority of people that really, they just go to work, they come home, they do the same thing. They go to work, they come home, they do the same thing. They don't know there's more to life, right?
Exactly. Yeah. No, that's just it. I mean, there is so much more to life.
Right.
And when people, yeah, I am with through all the challenges that we have through stuff, which is always going to happen.
Yeah.
It is how you look at those things and what you decide to do is going to not only drive the narrative going forward for how what others see, but it within yourself as well, because you feel a lot better about yourself when you are actually making an impact, when you're doing something that is really making a change instead of just, making it through the day, right? They're one of my favorite artists, Stephen Curtis Chapman wrote a song about there's more to this life than living and dying. more than just making it through the day. And that's exactly right. There's way more than that. And so when people move forward and actually make a difference like you, not only does it help you, but it helps so many others. And then other people who maybe are just followers will jump on board because they're thinking, yeah, I've been thinking that same thing. And that might give them the incentive and inspiration to join you.
There's
You know,
just
you said, oh, go for it, Sue. No, I was
I
just
say
gonna,
there's something to be said for community, and that's what, when you find people that that you can grow together with and you can learn and you can be in that moment. That's part of what the TV show is. It's the Today Show communities because we are celebrating community and how much we can move forward together that way. Because as an individual, you can work on yourself, you can improve yourself, you only can go so far all on your own. You really need to have that community piece as part of growing and learning because sometimes you don't even know what you don't know, right? I've gotten to the point when if I'm calling someplace to because I need an answer, I often end the call with, okay, tell me what else I should be thinking about here because I don't even they're the ones that's the expert in that thing. What else am I missing here? What do I need to know? And that has something simple like that has served me so well in just trying to get to that next step of whatever it is that I'm working on. So that community piece makes such a difference and soaking that in.
Yeah. Well, you know me, I'm all about connection and community building. And I think the more we come together, we are definitely better together.
yeah,
And, we all have our strengths, we all have our weaknesses, but when we work together, it's just like a single strand of
Right.
rope or twine is not very strong. But when you bind it together with multiple strands, it becomes stronger and stronger. It can hold more and more. And that is like coming together with others. We can do only so much by ourselves, but we can do so much more and it multiplies. It just compounds because when you come together, it expands the possibilities,
it
and
does.
that's so important. Yeah,
I often when I do gratitude, I am grateful for all of the communities I belong to. When I transitioned from being a teacher and educator, okay, so was used to being surrounded by my community, like the students, the staff, like the friends I've made there. And when I transitioned to working from home, I'm going to tell you, it was a shock to my system. I was okay for a few months, and then I'm like, oh my God, this is not okay. I need people. And I'm like, I would actually go back to work at the school just to be around my community, just to be around people, right? So I get that there is such power in community, and we weren't created to be alone.
that's
We were
right.
not created to be alone. We're human beings, and part of being a human is connection, connecting with others. And it does make a difference, though, to connect with like-minded people versus not your crowd, right? It makes a big difference who you do associate with and who are a part of your communities makes a big difference.
Well, I love what you just said there because we were definitely created for community. We were created to be together and work together for sure. And I
Yeah.
agree with that 100%. And I'll say it again. This is a well-used phrase, but it is so true. We are definitely better together. Isolation is the beginning of disaster.
Yeah.
Isolation doesn't mean we all don't need quiet time and alone time. That's not isolation.
Yeah.
Everybody needs a little bit of that, but coming together and doing things together is always a better thing because when you isolate, fear creeps in, all of the other things, limiting beliefs, and there's all the major challenges and depression and things in life. But when you come together, not only can you work together and do more, but you can encourage each other, lift each other up, help each other out, and that's a good thing.
Right. And that's exactly what I was thinking about. What you just said. I really believe that there's been a huge increase in mental health and wellness issues, a huge increase in people committing suicide. But where did that all start? Right? It started when like during that COVID lockdown, there were some people that got used to being alone, but that was
Yeah.
not good for your mental health and wellness. I used to be an educator at that point, and I'm going to tell you something. I had never seen so many people. And I'm not just talking about students, I'm talking about people my age, my friends, like, my siblings, like all different age groups. All of a sudden, there was anxiety. We actually put names to feelings, we put names to what was going on, depression, anxiety, all of all those mental health things that we were never willing to talk about before came to the forefront. But you know what? I I think that's one of the blessings that came out of it because we were never, it was always a stigma to talk about stuff like this before. But through that process, I mean, we were able to, there's some good that came out of it, right? There's some good,
Yeah.
but mental health and wellness issues, wow, we need community. We need to be connected so we don't feel that. Now, I don't know about you, but if I get stressed out and I talk to a friend, I'm like, okay, I feel okay now. I'm okay. I can resolve whatever is going on through communication and connection.
You know what I used to encourage my sales teams to do, because this is what I always did, and I thought this was super helpful. If
Yeah.
you come to work and you're not feeling it, you're feeling a little down, the first thing I would say is find a customer that lifts you up, that encourages you, somebody who is a positive force,
Mm.
and grab a cup of coffee, take it to them. Go meet with them, take them coffee, talk to them for a minute. This is what I would do, and it would just completely change the way I was feeling. I would get excited because they would start motivating me, and then from there, the day was up from there, right? Instead of staying isolated, I would seek
Right.
positive people. Yes.
Yeah. As you're saying that, people are coming to mind that I can go, like my go-to people that, you have a problem, they're trusted, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Love that. And I know one of the things that we work with, we're Kurt and I are both ambassadors with Project Die Hard, and that's all about preventing suicide with our veteran community. And isolation is a big piece of that. And giving hope, needing hope, and that's where we've actually started doing this hashtag check your vet, reach out, that whole point of connection that makes such a difference. We actually do a show every Monday night just doing updates on what's going on with Project Die Hard because there's a lot happening week to week. And it's kind of funny that at the very end, we always each go around the room and share a message of hope for our veterans. And I know this was mentioned earlier today, which is I find really interesting connecting point. One of my things that I always say as we're ending is that God's not done with you yet. You're here
Right.
for a reason.
Yeah.
And that's a thing, that's real, that's but I think when you are isolated, when you are just by yourself and you get in your own head, it's easy to lose the perspective of a lot of things, and that's where being more grounded with having that connection with others really, really makes a difference. And because
Yeah.
we all can get lost in our heads sometimes, right? There's always
Oh,
the little chatter going on. It's like, what are you listening to? What are you paying attention to? Because we're our own worst critic along the way in life, right? And if you
yeah.
get too far down that rabbit hole, it's easy to go there. And having people around that reminds you that, life happens, yes, but you got to choose. You got to choose what you're
That's right.
doing.
That sounds like a good book I've heard of.
Yes.
But and one of my chapters in the book is God's Not Done with Me Yet.
I
And
love
it's interesting what you said there too, because it is so important to be around people, be around positive people. We all have divine purpose for our life. But one thing I recommend to people too, even when you want to be alone and you want some of your own time, still hang around people. And what I mean by this is like my quiet time. I am here in my office, but in the next room is my beautiful wife that I can just go talk to. I understand everybody doesn't have a spouse, but you have friends close by, community around that then you can go to. Same thing too with everybody, a common thing nowadays is people binging series on Netflix or whatever. If you want to do that, getting just stuck just watching TV all the time is not good. Do it with friends. Binge a few episodes with friends because then you can talk in between. Things happen and you're not just alone, but you still get to maybe have some of that brain shut off time, where you can do what you want to watch. But you know what I'm saying? Think about those little little things about just keeping people in the proximity that you can stay in touch with makes just a huge difference with how, how you feel about yourself.
But
I have to say
Well,
this. I just want to acknowledge what you're doing with the vets. I mean, it's so important. Um, I often like when I travel like through to different places in the States, it breaks my heart to see homeless veterans. It breaks my heart to see like, I mean, they don't deserve that. No one deserves that. No one deserves to be homeless. But oh hi. Oh, sorry, the chat distracted me. But I just want to acknowledge what you
all
guys are
good.
what you're doing with the vets. It's really, really important. Really important. So thank you for doing that, taking care of them.
well, I want to just add one more thing that you talked about a little while ago, Sue, and that is it's important how we talk to ourselves. And so, yes, we have all these issues out there and all these problems that we should all be involved with helping, but we can't really help others until we help ourselves. And if we start our day listening to negative voices in our head, which we all have,
Mhm.
or saying things to ourselves like, oh, you're such an idiot, you're so stupid, and all this kind of thing. Where does that help? Nobody else has to get on us. We're doing it ourselves. So it's important how you talk to yourself, both just through your mind and the
Right.
things you actually say. It's so important because then what happens is we lift ourselves and can then help and lift others. We can help the homeless veterans. We can help people with disabilities. We can help people that need insurance issues, whatever. I mean, it gives us really the personal platform to be able to do things. So I'm a huge advocate of that. Another thing in my book, I write about every morning before I get out of bed, I do three things. Before I get out of bed, I first of all say I'm thankful and grateful for God, for my beautiful wife, for my family, for all that I have. Number two, I give myself a little pep talk. I say, I've got this. God has given me the ability to do things and make an impact and encourage people. And then number three, I decide today is going to be awesome. And a lot of people, when they find up, they find I get up at 4 a.m. They're like, there's no way I'm saying life is awesome at 4 a.m. And I tell them, I'm not telling you what you should do, giving you an example of what I do, because you have to come to that point of positive thought about things are going to be good. I always say, get your hopes up, right? Why not? Why dumb down your hopes? Get your hopes up, expect good things, right? You're going to find more positive stuff if you're expecting good things. So those are just three things I do every day. It makes a huge impact on how I start my day.
Well,
Oh
you know what? I
gosh.
love that. I'm actually working on creating a new morning routine because here's what I know. Right before you go to sleep at night and right before you get up, you're programming your subconscious mind. And, I'm just really grateful for all the mentors that I've had. And there's certain ones in particular that really focused on this and taught us that, you know what, those are crucial periods of time. You need to make sure that what you're thinking about and what you're focused on at those moments are positive things or things, it's what you want to create for yourself in your life, right? Because you're
Right?
fortifying your mindset, you're reprogramming those beliefs. And you know what? Getting back to the voice in your head, your self-talk. I don't know if you guys have heard of a program called, I think they've rebranded to Landmark Worldwide. It's an incredible program, the Landmark Forum, but it actually teaches you about like, catching that voice in your head when it goes off. And it's such an incredible personal development program. I one of my seminar leaders is like this. He's like, get out of your head. It's a bad neighborhood. And I've never forgotten that because I mean, when you're in your head, oh my God, you never say to other people what you say to yourself. And if you did, you might get hurt, right? Honestly. Yeah.
I
love
love that.
that.
I might say it a little bit differently, and that
Yeah.
would be watch out what's in your head and
Right.
change your neighborhood if there's a problem, because the only way to replace negative thought in your brain, which will happen to all of us, which happens daily to all of us, is to replace it with positive
Yeah.
thoughts and positive self-talk. And so I just think that is so important. And I'm with you 100%. I have become more intentional now about my night routine,
Yep.
what I do. me personally, I always read scripture at bed before I go to bed and pray with my beautiful wife. And I do the first thing when I get out of bed as well, because you're right. The way you end the day and start the day is programming your entire life. So you're right.
Yeah.
My goodness, I love this. And I do have a gentleman joining us. I want to give him a moment to come on in and say hello. Barry Tate is joining us today as well. I know he said his connection's not great, but that I wanted you to come on in and say hello and introduce yourself, Barry. Thank you for being here.
Uh, Thank you for having me, Sue. I hope you guys are hearing me okay.
Yes.
Greetings from the beautiful Turn Island Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, the southernmost islands of the Caribbean. My name is Barry. I am a business consultant slash business coach, and I focus on helping new and aspiring entrepreneurs navigate what can be a treacherous landscape, that landscape we call entrepreneurship. And I really think it's good that I was able to step away and join this call because I really resonate with what I heard when I came in. You know, it's something that I say to the people I work with, the people I serve. If you're alive, it means your purpose still exists. You still have a reason for being here. And whether or not you acknowledge someone gave you that life you have, or acknowledge that it's someone that has orchestrated the purpose that you're walking in, you still have the responsibility to dive in and discover what that purpose is. And I believe my personal mantra is that enterprise is for everyone. It doesn't mean we all need to own businesses, but we all need to be involved in enterprise so that we can fuel the impact that we have and we create in other people's lives. So I'm really glad to be here, glad to be part of the conversation. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Thank you, Barry. Yeah, if you guys have not connected with Barry yet, I highly encourage that. He's a wonderful gentleman who's doing so many good things. And yeah, I'm honored you're here with us today, Barry.
Yeah, that sounds great. And so great to have you here, Barry. And honored to meet you virtually and would love to chat some more another time.
And I know there's some information in the chat there. You guys can, if you need me to help with making connections happen, I am so happy to do that too.
Yes, always love connections as we're talking about. So yeah, I have just been, what an amazing hour that goes so quickly.
Yes.
What a blessing to be able to meet amazing people making an impact on life. And I just want to continue to encourage people to be thoughtful and intentional about your perspective every day, how you're looking at things, because it is going to drive the experience of your life. And so really think about that in all you're doing. I don't have all the answers. None of us have all the answers. I'm not trying to tell you how to live your life either. You know what? I have my way, and I happen to be blessed with a positive mindset and an upbeat perspective. And I know a lot of people struggle with that. And I completely get that. I have people close to me that struggle with that as well. But you can always make those choices, one little choice at a time, one little step at a time, moving in a positive direction. Next thing you know, you'll be like Shella, you'll be out there revolutionizing the insurance world. Who knows? You'll be able to do great things. So just hang in there.
You know, it will be because of a community. It will be through a community. There's just no way that one person can do this by themselves. It'll be because of people like you and Kurt and Sue. And you know, you said something really, really important. Being intentional. There's a book that I started reading by Dr. Wayne Dyer. It's The Power of Intention. I started reading that book and then I don't know where I put it. And I was like, oh my God, but it was so powerful. Some of the stuff I read in there, and it's true. When I went to this one event and I wanted to have 6 conversations instead of wanting, I'm like, okay, I'm going to have those conversations. And I was being intentional. And within that 2-day weekend, I was able to create all 6 of them, which was incredible, right? Because they're important conversations, but being intentional, yeah, that is something that is so, so critical. I don't know about you, Russ. Like, I don't know what your thoughts are, but maybe, and this is where, like, you know, I'd love feedback because again, it's the power of community, right? When you're being intentional, I find sometimes it takes a lot of energy. And that has stopped me at one point from being intentional because, I had some adrenal issues, right? So energy, I was low on energy at one point, right? Because people were taking energy away from me. And I mean, that could be looked at as two things. Like I was not protecting myself or didn't have the boundaries, right? But what are your thoughts on being intentional? Does it take you a great amount of energy to be intentional? Or am I doing it wrong?
Well,
Am I
yeah,
crazy?
no, I agree with you. I think it takes a ton of energy, and I think we need
Yeah,
to be
okay.
intentional about how we use our time being intentional. And, through my cancer journey, I still can only really be productive in the morning and pretty much have to rest and sleep in the afternoon. And so, what I really choose to do is really be intentional about how I spend that time, who I spend that time with. And there's a few people you're going to need to be in there to lift up and pull up, but you can't do that always without having somebody else that lifts you up and pulls you up. You need a balance of that. And so you need to be intentional about who you're spending time with and how you're spending it and who your community is, who you're hanging out with. When I was had young kids, they're both grown up adults now, but when they were young, I was huge on the environment they were in. I was very intentional about what we allowed them to be in because that environment was creating who they were going to become. And so I didn't want to be a parent that said, wow, I don't know what happened. They just suddenly became this way. Well, that I don't have the answers for everybody, but usually that's not the case. Usually kids get in an environment they really shouldn't be in and it pulls them a certain direction, unbeknownst to the parents or whoever. So I was always very intentional about that. So again, I go back to being very intentional about the time I'm being intentional and then being very focused during that time. And then you got to give yourself some time, Shella, about just downtime, just rest time, and just not being intentional and not having to worry about things because you need a balance of that because it does get tiring.
Okay. Now that does make sense because you know what, there are times where I have I have energy and I'm able to get an extraordinary amount of things done. And then by the end of the evening, I've noticed now I'm like, okay, my brain checks out. So okay, yeah, got you.
Every day of my life, mine checks out about 1 o'clock after lunch. But it's okay because I've learned my pattern and what I can do. But take in the afternoon, an hour task will take me 3 hours if I have to do something. So,
Right.
but I know in the morning, an hour task will take me half an hour. I'm just that way. I'm just super focused and super, and I can get a ton done. I'm just really, productive in the mornings. So I just balance my time and I get my day all in before lunch and then I'm good.
Then you're good. That just reminds me of a podcast I watched. It's Diary of a CEO, and he was speaking to a some kind of sleep expert, and he was talking about sleep chronotypes. You reminded me of one of the chronotypes, a person who is, I don't know how, oh yeah, you get up early. You get up early,
Yeah.
but you get up early, you're focused in the morning, and then that's it. Because I guess there's a couple different chronotypes, but depending on the chronotype, your focus and your work blocks are going to vary, right? And so
Yeah.
if you figure out which type you are, then you can figure out when to be most productive. And I'm like, okay, that does make sense because I find I'm somebody who is, I can be really creative at night, but if I stay up too late, I cannot get up early the next morning and I'm trying to force myself. And so I think I'm going against my chronotype,
Yeah.
trying to train myself. But yeah,
Yeah.
no,
That's great.
it's very interesting. Very, very
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we can
Well,
spend a
Sue, thank
lifetime
you.
even getting to know ourselves in that way too, and how we work. So yeah, and I know Russ, you said you've got another thing you've got to get off here too. I don't want to hold you up. I'm so grateful for you to be here with us, and you're welcome to join us anytime.
Thank you. It's been a blessing and I definitely will come back again. I appreciate it.
It was great
Awesome.
to meet you, Russ. So
Very
great.
nice to meet you, Shella.
I,
Let's get in
yes, I
touch and
booked
chat
into
some
your
more.
calendar. Yeah. I'll book into your calendar.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Hey, well, you guys have a blessed weekend. We'll see ya.
You
Thank you,
too.
Russ. Take care. And I kind of tangent to what you'd been talking about with intention. I know I had well, a friend of ours, Dr. Karen Willens, she's
Hi.
been on
Yeah.
here before as well. And something that she had said at the beginning of the year that it was interesting how it hit me because she was talking right around the first of the year about the difference between having a New Year's resolution and changing that word to what is your intention for the year.
Right.
And that and how she was describing that, it totally hit me like, oh wow, what a different approach. And just by making that little adjustment is not so little, to really have intention in what you're doing, it makes a big difference.
It
I,
really does.
and
Does.
so I that word has come up this year for me so many different ways. It's like, okay, message hitting. I'm listening.
It's a message that you needed to receive. Actually, it's a message I
Yes.
think I needed to receive too. So it's perfect that you're sharing it with me. You know, another word that's been coming up a lot this year for me is alignment. It's so interesting.
Mm,
That word is like everywhere. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I get there's another message there. Yeah,
I love that.
yeah.
Oh, and I think we just lost Barry. I know he's said his
Connection.
connection was not necessarily the best, which
Right.
I'm thrilled he was here. I'm not sure if he's been able to join us on here before, so I'm feeling very blessed that he had a moment to join us. And I know we do have Marianne here as well. I want to take a moment and go ahead and get her into the conversation. One thing we've been doing is in the last, I gotta see what chapter we're on. We are on chapter 10. So this is our 10th week in a row here where we're reading a chapter out of her book, Underwater Acts of Kindness. So Marianne, I'm wondering if it's a good time for you to join the conversation here as well. Are you there? And I may have to give her a moment here. Well, whenever she's able to join on in is all good. There's a friend, Trina's been joining us and actually doing the reading, but I know she's not able to be here today. So whenever it's a good time, we will go ahead and be sure to get her book chapter read today because it's fun. And talking about all her what she does is right in the total line of conversation we have here with
Yeah.
Acts of Kindness series. So
Oh,
her website is actsofkindnessseries.com, and it truly that talks so much to the whole concept of what we have been speaking to today as well. Because I think you have met before, I believe. Is that
yes.
true?
We've met
Okay,
once or twice before. Yeah. Yeah.
excellent.
You know,
Perfect.
just talking about kindness, I mean, it doesn't take anything to be kind to anybody, a person. And I'm going to say this, you can save someone's life by one act of kindness. Like literally you can.
Yes.
I remember this one lady walking down our street by herself, and this was during COVID times. And this
Hmm.
was when it was right in the beginning, and people were really scared, and everybody was separated by that 2 meters, right? And she had
Hmm.
these heavy bags of groceries. And I felt so bad because all of a sudden I'm like, you could see the burden on her. Like she was doubled over trying to carry stuff. And there was just a sadness from her. And so I stopped her and
Oh,
I'm like, are you okay? And she looked at me and she's like, are you talking to me? And I'm like, yeah, I just wanted to know if you're okay. Do you need help? And she's like, oh my God, you're the first person who's talked to me in I don't know how long. And my heart broke. I mean, in that moment, I really got it doesn't take much to be kind to someone, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's so important.
it
Yeah.
truly is.
Yeah.
Our friend Santa Papa John, he's very
Yeah.
much about sharing a smile, sharing that moment. And it's like, I've that's been a thing with me since forever. I mean,
Yeah.
when Kurt and I met 30, how many years ago? 35?
Oh,
No, more
wow.
than that. Long
35.
time ago. When we played a name game where we met
Yeah.
in the dorms and get to know your fellow dorm folks. I introduced myself as Smiling Sue, and that it's always been a thing. It's like share a
Yeah.
smile, share. It is so easy. If someone else doesn't have a smile, give them yours.
Right.
That whole idea is like, and it sounds silly, but it's true. You might be really making a big difference for someone
Right.
else just by as you're walking by, smile at them, say hi.
Right.
The world's
I
not
totally
a
agree with
bad
you.
place. You just gotta have some confidence and reach out a little bit. So
People
easy to
need that.
do.
So it is so easy to do it, but people they really need that these days. They
Yeah.
really just need that, right? With what's going on in the world right now. I mean, there's a lot of negativity, a lot of negative news, but that small act. By the way, my middle name is Smile. My mom named me Charlotte the Bussum, and the Bussum means to smile. So I'm like, okay, I do
Oh
that.
my gosh, I love that.
Hi, Kurt. I see you. It's been a minute.
Actually, Kurt, you want to join the conversation? I see you got your camera on. How you doing?
Oh, Mr.
Doing
Barry.
good. I just came from a networking event with the No More 9 to 5 Club. Check it out at the No More 9 to 5 Club.org.
Cool. I'm gonna check it out.
That's a good group. They're amazing. There's some absolutely wonderful folks in there. So yeah, can you put that in the chat there, Kurt, so that that's easy to reference? Because yeah, highly recommend them. So did you have any tidbits you want to share from the experience you guys all had today?
Yeah, they were talking about what do I call it, like buzzwords, trigger words, when statements, to kind of help people get that reticular activation going. That when you describe, if somebody is frustrated, when somebody's frustrated with getting their doctor bills paid for, or when they're frustrated that their options are limited by insurance, then send them to Shella, Shella will improve that for them. You got to create that scenario so they can recognize that moment where it's like, okay, we gotta get talking to Shella. They're going through some of that today.
Excellent. Well, and I know I do see Barry's back. So Barry, if you have anything, don't be shy about unmuting and joining the conversation here. So with No More, can you tell us actually a bit more about what No More 9 to 5 Club is? Now that we just threw that tease out there, can you describe a bit what the organization is and the folks that are involved there?
Well, there we go. Let's create that trigger statement, that when statement. So when we know people who are, in that 9 to 5 grind and they just don't feel that they're being fully fulfilled and they just want that more meaning. And if the monetary returns aren't coming the way they want them through their employer, or maybe they're just unemployed, maybe they're unemployable, the No More 9 to 5 Club helps you to build that life where you're a solopreneur, a contractor, an affiliate marketer, whatever it is, all the ways people are making money from home and, as a small business and so forth, all the acumen. They've got the wisdom, and wealth, wisdom, and wellness program. Those are the pillars of their program. And there is the No More 9 to 5 Club Foundation. So they do practice philanthropy as a business group, which is huge for me because I've been concerned about that in the solopreneur world. When we start creating that exodus from the corporate structure and we've created that corporate social responsibility practice, and then we're not transitioning that into the solopreneur format, that gets us to be in a lot of trouble. So I give the No More 9 to 5 Club kudos to have the club for business people and help people realize how they could be a business person if they're not yet. And then with that, to have all the philanthropy built right into what we're doing as a co-opt collective group of entrepreneurs.
Excellent. Well, and I know Barry's here too. Is that something, I'm curious if Barry's had a chance to dive in at that group as well, because that sounds like a great connecting point for him as well.
How do you connect with them, Kurt? How would you connect with them? Because they sound like a group I'm going to need to connect with.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Basically, we have John Jew from your group is a member from the Number 9 to 5 Club that also is doing what you do. So yeah, the pathway is already there, but you'd probably coordinate that with John in terms of what he's doing. There's 24 hours of events, Shella, so there's
Wow.
plenty of room for
Month,
everybody.
yeah.
Every month.
Yeah.
Yes, so I have had the opportunity to chat with Jason, met him through Kurt, and we had a one-on-one during the past week here. So I'm also exploring that space and the possibilities there, and to see how I can add value to what's happening over there as well.
Excellent. Well, and I know, so Barry, maybe I could just take a moment. I know you do a lot here with Spirit of the Game, and that's what the Zoom that we use is through Spirit of the Game. You want to share a bit about what your role is with them, and just dive in, because I'm guessing Michelle may not know much about Spirit of the Game. So I think this might be a good opportunity. Barry, do you want to talk to that just a little?
Yeah, sure. But let me apologize, but I'm in a noisy area, so let me apologize if the background noise is sipping through. But I'm the American Council Chair at Spirit of the Green, and the organization, or I should say the council, we are narrowing down, battening down how we create or expand our network or impact rather through networking. But the organization as a whole, it's geared towards having people maximize their impact, whether they're professionals, entrepreneurs, or they run projects or nonprofit organizations. It's a matter of honing in on how you establish that impact and how you can maximize it. And we do that through webinars, training on AI, training on HR, basically anything you could think of, all with the viewpoint to empowering individuals to be more impactful in whatever they're doing.
Excellent. And who doesn't want that? I mean, that speaks volumes to what the organization's all about and what you're doing. So Barry, thank you for what you're all doing with Spirit of the Game and all the efforts. Go ahead, Shella.
I was going to ask, is there a website for me to look at? Because that just sounds incredible. I just noticed Kurt put it into the chat, so thank you. I'm going to
Perfect.
more. You have like a great mission.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, and I love that. Your greatness is already within you. Let's unlock it. Oh, I see here. I see Kurt's got this on the screen. Oh, give me a second here to be able to share the picture here. Just making it big. So, and Kurt, before we get too far along, I do have one more thing I want to make sure that you can cover with us. But here, I've got on the screen here, Barry the Visionary. I love this. Your greatness is already within you. Let's unlock it. And, that goes right along with a whole, I think the whole first hour of our conversation that is summed up in what you're stating right on here. So Barry, we talked about community before too, and to be surrounded with so many wonderful people in this community. I'm so thrilled. So Kurt, I'm going to pass it back to you for another piece of this. On March 7th, do I have the date correct? We've got a lot going on in Arizona. There's a big event happening, and I think this would be a great time to share what that all involves. And as much as I know pieces of what's happening there, I know, Kurt, you know a heck of a lot more. So I'm actually going to send it your way to unpeel a bit of that onion, because here we go. While you're talking about it, I'll bring the picture up on the screen here.
Yeah, so we're looking at here is we're looking at a sports entity bringing out a charitable objective and using that attraction of a charity challenge, bringing in celebrities and creating quite a novel event that is, put together by people who, kind of do offshoot events from the Oscars. So they're not doing the Oscars, but they have other Oscar parties, Oscar viewing parties, and so forth. So we're going to have this gold carpet event down in Phoenix, Arizona, and people are flying in from all over the place to make this event. So certainly, if you know people in the Mesa, Arizona area, or people who also would want to travel to Mesa, Arizona, some people are going to be down there. Like you see the baseball bat, because we're kind of hitting the season of spring training. and so forth. And you're seeing the football players and so forth. So it's going to be a collision of sports. Mark Balin, who is the proprietor, owner, operator of On the Mark TV, he's the mastermind behind this event, and he's got a star-studded lineup of people who are making everything this event is going to be. So certainly when we get to March 8th here at the World Ability Podcast Network, we're going to be at the dawn of a new day, because what people are doing there at Dink and Dine is the business venue that is hosting the event. So that they call it a pickle park, but pickleball park. So pickleball is quite a growing sport and pastime. Pickleball has been recognized as, such a doable sport. So when you do a lot of sports, people kind of shy away from doing it because there's just too much to it. They maybe don't feel like they're in the condition, or they don't have the agility, or worried about injury or whatever. But pickleball is a sport that, the senior citizens are loving, and kids love it. So another one of these sports that bridges all ages, and it's a ton of fun. And so to help everybody all around get more active, pickleball's coming in and really helping people do activity when otherwise they maybe wouldn't. So there's a lot to say about the sport there. And look at that, opiate and fentanyl awareness. So we're kind of coming into this um, realm of helping people with a goal of substance use reduction, and looking at how to do that. We're also going to have another charity on the sidelines in the midst of this. We're going to have folks who operate Better Vision for Children there. So that's another charitable opportunity. We're going to have Brian Gibson, president and founder of Project Die Hard, is going to be there. Thomas Long is going to be there, who's one of our worldwide veteran leaders. And he's actually, Thomas Long is actually up in Canada right now. He's in Toronto with our friend Jay Stoyan from the Disability Channel and with the Honest John podcast, and all of the works of Jay Stoyan and his partners and his team. So Sue and I work with the team. And yeah, as far as the Disability Channel, the World of Ability podcast is part of the programming at the Disability Channel, and the Disability Channels with On the Mark TV. We got Dr. Anthony Sardelli with Nonprofit TV and Nonprofit Media Solutions will be at this event, and part of our bundle. Eric Zuley from Easy Way TV and the Easy Way Network and Easy Way Events and the Easy Way Wall of Fame. And, so you want to talk about somebody who's really empowering people to just blow up their business and expand. And, folks like Shella who have a movement and really want to get that movement to just spread like wildflowers. Eric Zuley's the guy. We got a VIP pitch party this Thursday.
Mhm.
So everybody is welcome to our VIP pitch party with Easy Way Network. Go on and register for this Thursday. It'll be 3 to 5 Pacific time, 6 to 8 Eastern time. Will be the VIP pitch party. So there's a lot represented in that pickleball 2 event. So obviously they've had one before. But wowee, this event has taken a quantum leap thanks to Mark Balin. And we're just really excited here at the World Ability Podcast to be featured on the Mark TV, Easy Way TV, the Disability Channel, Nonprofit TV. We have more resources as we're talking to you in this podcast. Barry Tate is excited, our gentleman here, the visionary, Barry the visionary, working with him on the America's Council with Spirit of the Game Foundation. The global network, I just was on one of our friends from Kenya that is very excited to learn how Spirit of the Game TV works. And Spirit of the Game TV is powered by Easy Way TV, Nonprofit TV, the Disability Channel, so on and so forth on the Mark TV. So we're a TV family. And with Easy Way, we're an Easy Way family. And so we got all the elements coming together. When you check off a list, when we get to know each other, there's basically 6 elements that we can check off to see what we know about a person and how we build out our own lives. Where are we in faith space? What are we doing in service in our life? How are we to receive service? How do we educate? How do we learn? How are we a citizen? You know, like that famous adage, ask not what your country will do for you, ask what you can do for your country, right? All of those things, these things of life are coming forward through working together, teamwork together. Everyone achieves miracles,
Love it.
and you look at the business community to look at giving life into a business. And when you have purpose and your business has purpose, and everybody that's supporting your business is seeing the purpose and the mission like Shella brings to the table in this show, this is of uber importance. It's essential because there's such a void to fill in business. It says find a need and fill it. Well, there are so many unmet needs in the world. I was talking to the gentleman today about human resources. And we're going to be talking again on Monday about human resources. And there's agreement. I was agreeing with his day-to-day action because he's passionate about addressing the continent of Africa from a human resource perspective, naming Australia, New Zealand, Europe, Asia, Canada, USA, Mexico, South America. So we're looking at that Africa has been treated like an empty donut hole. But it's like, no, have you heard of the donut hole you can eat? He's holding up Africa to be that ever so delicious donut hole, and it's very sweet. And it's about the human resource to look at all those Africans who are ready to go to work for Australia, ready to go to work for Eurasia and the Americas, all around the world. We are growing our global family as humans. The human family is growing through all this work. We're talking about by the end of this year, we're going to be coming in to New Year's Day 2027. So January 1st, 2027, you're all welcome to be a part of our New Year's Day press conference, where we're going to be announcing to the world in a fashion that is just as important as a presidential address about how we are showing 1 billion people around the world that are kind of culminating into this, fueling it, human powered, like you talk about horsepower. Imagine an engine that is running on a human power of 1 billion. 1 billion in human power. We're reporting on that January 1st, 2027. And you, as our viewer here at the World Ability Podcast, are a part of it. And if anybody knows me to any extent, you just gosh darn got to know the top adage I have. I lead with the mantra of what's fun gets done. All of us want to enjoy our journey. All of us want to be entertained. We love arts and entertainment, all the things. So when we look at hobbies, pastime, leisure activities, travel, sports, rec. So again, what I'm saying is Pickle Brawl 2 checks all the boxes. Coming into March 7th and 8th in faith. March 7th and 8th in service. March 7th and 8th, your head will spin like Beetlejuice with what we're learning from each other on March 7th and 8th. And to look at how our government is just going to be, Donald Trump is going to be drooling over Pickle Brawl 2. And Donald Trump, I'll be happy to interview you over your reaction to Pickle Brawl 2. And all leaders around the world and business people are going to have success stories. They're going to go there for social, charitable reasons. And when they return to work on Monday, their business is going to be better off because of Pickle Brawl 2. And it's going to be so much fun. Like if you missed the party, sorry, sucker. Back to you, Sue.
Oh my
Actually,
goodness.
Shella, go ahead.
I have to say, okay, that name is genius. I mean, I'm laughing over here, Pickle Brawl. That got my attention. And I still don't know what pickleball looks like. I've heard about it for years now. but I have no idea. So I'm assuming there's a little racket there somewhere. Okay, I'm gonna look it up. I gotta watch what it is and see, because everybody I know talks about pickleball. Everybody.
Yeah, it's amazing. I know I played once, but it was so long ago. I can't even tell you exactly because I know it's fun. I know it's doable. And I think it's kind of a combo between badminton and almost like ping
Gotta find
pong
a
ball
video.
type racket-ish. I mean, it's just a little different, but
Yeah.
very doable. That's the thing that I think is really helping it catch fire like it has. That
All right,
it's
Sue, we got
yes.
to do it. You got to give me, Emily's sleeping here. You ladies got to give me co-host privileges. I mean, geez,
Uh-oh.
I got to ask for my function. I mean, Barry, come on now, my leader at Spirit of the Game. This is a Spirit of the Game Zoom. Boy, these
Hang on.
ladies are tough, Barry. You got to help me out.
I'm
So,
coming.
but I want to share the
You
screen.
You want to show me what pickleball is? Okay, good. Show me. I'm ready.
Exactly.
Because I have no idea. I know it's a
All
sound.
right, see, here we go. So I've got no idea. We're doing this together. So this is just kind of, so
We'll
we got
discover it together.
inside Mesa's Riverview's newest Dinkin' Dine pickle. So here, let me get the sound here.
Valley has a brand new
Okay.
New restaurants while
Of course, you gotta
running
get a commercial.
Right.
That's what YouTube does.
other restaurants. So we turned to Upwork.
grab a
There you go.
paddle or grab a bite. The East Valley has a brand new entertainment hub. Hey, I'm Nicole Gutierrez with ABC 15 Arizona, and we're at Mesa Riverview getting a first look of Dinkin' Dine Pickle Park.
Oh, perfect.
We basically took the fastest growing sport in the world, pickleball, and we paired it with chef-driven culinary food.
Mesa Riverview has grown throughout the years. I mean, with new developments, eateries, and you guys are an entertainment spot, but also with 2 restaurants and 3 bars. How is this more inclusive for even people that don't play the sport?
So our food concepts are built around the entire day. So we start out with Paddleheads Bar and Grill as just like a grab and go, and then we have homemade scones and croissants and muffins. They're made fresh every morning right on site. We have different types of breakfast sandwiches and paninis. And then around 11 o'clock, it switches to like hamburgers and tacos and pizzas and all the lunch kind of fun things and grab and go snacks and things. And then at dinner time, we have like salmon plates, we have halibut, steak, all the fun things that you would want for dinner. Lots of amazing things.
For somebody that hasn't really played the sport or maybe doesn't understand why it's such a big deal in the country and in Arizona, what would you say to that?
I would say, first of all, this is not a club. We have no club pricing. You could get a pass, but we did that on purpose because we don't want people to feel like, oh, I belong to Dinkin' Dine Pickle Park Club. This is for everyone. It is for the entire community. If you have never stepped foot on a court before, this is where you do it. If you're nervous about it, then get a drink at Paddleheads and watch, or get some food and watch it happen. And then you can book with one of our pros. You can book a beginner lesson. We'll also have different programming where there'll be times where you could come and learn. And then also some of the courts they'll be segmented off for your different levels.
In Mesa, Nicole Gutierrez, ABC 15, Arizona.
Okay, it looks fun. I think I could probably play that sport. And you know what? That was making me hungry. Just so you know, I'm fasting.
No.
Listen, the month of Ramadan has started. I'm fasting and I'm like, I'm getting hungry now.
Yeah, and as soon as we started showing food, Santa came, but he's telling me, he's texting me, he's like, Kurt, I'm going to play pickleball. I'm pledging as Santa that the world will see Santa playing pickleball. He just promised that. Way to go, Santa.
You were saying something earlier, Kurt, that I wanted to ask you about. You were talking about Africa and the African countries and all the potential coming out of Africa. I have to say this, in the last 6 months alone, the Pan-African division of our company has exploded. It is such an incredible story of people who come from all of those African countries who come here to start a life and have an opportunity for themselves and their families, and the kind of difference that they're making for their families. when they're able to support them and send money home to them, it's making such an incredible difference. Like they're feeding whole families for months on what they're making here in the US and Canada, right? Through our opportunity. So, and we're talking about the whole
Yeah,
company. Yeah. But
yeah.
when you were talking,
Santa shared before that the continent that gets the most people on the nice list is
is
Africa, right, Santa?
Kurt's trying real hard to get off the naughty list.
I am. It's really something, Shella. This guy brings me truckloads of coal. Like people are worried about getting a lump of coal. He gives me truckloads, this guy. He's got connections to truckers, and they come in like we're gonna show that Kurt Roscoff, and they just my neighbors are like, what is with all that coal? What did you do? Wow.
funny,
Keep it up.
And
We'll
he
stay warm.
keeps,
right?
well,
That's
it keeps
exactly
him
what I was
warm, but he keeps digging himself into these holes that he just can't get out. He tries real hard.
Yeah, well, I figure if I'm in a hole and you have all this coal, I can pile up the coal and maybe I can step out of the hole from the coal. Right?
Well,
Can
and
I say something? I just took a look at Spirit of the Game website. Oh my God. Okay. I love the Gandhi saying, be the change that you wish to see, that you want to see in the world. I used to teach that to my students. That was one of the things I would tell them. I'm like, stand up. If you don't like something, I'm like, you be the change that you want to see in the world. So the fact that it's on there is incredible. And you talk about personal accountability on there. Yeah, okay. I really like this. I'm gonna have to dive deeper into this.
Mhm.
Okay. To figure out what this is all about. I like it. Oh,
Yeah, Kurt, go ahead. Did you
I'm
raise your
lost.
hand on purpose?
I did, and it's with great purpose. We want to make sure that everybody knows about the fourth annual and so annual event um, that has been a commitment to keep it going. Our torchbearer here is Zach Clayton, and so he leads the way for us for our Healthy Hero event. So I'm showing you here that this is the group that is doing an event on February 22nd, a 22-hour event. So I'm going to go here and put in healthy. Oh, here I had it here. It's Healthy Heroes. So this is a shout out to all of our teachers and first responders, medical staff, our our veterans, so police, law enforcement, firefighters, EMTs, all of our heroes out there. We've got a mission for Healthy Heroes, Sunday, February 22nd. And again, until the date switches to the 23rd, and this is on the Western world side. So actually we'll have some folks in the Eastern world that will participate. It'll show the 23rd on their calendar, but we're still running it America's based for Sunday the 22nd. So this is an ask. We want everybody to go to communitypayitforward.us and communicate out, get hooked up to all the social media, the PAC channel, and all the things that they produce, and then watch this, participate, make comments, subscribe to the channel, and so they have right on here where they can watch. So you're talking YouTube, a few different places. They got Kick, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch. So lots of ways to watch and participate, but get it kicked off right away. Start interacting. Go on there like right now and just tell them how good of an idea it is, and just do your own thing as well. Because again, it's about the teachers. It's about the first responders. It's about the police, the law enforcement, the EMTs, everybody that makes the fire departments, the police departments, the emergency personnel, folks in the 911 call centers, all of that, where a lot of those jobs, when people are enjoying events at Dink and Dine or, all of that fun stuff, when I say what's fun gets done, well, heroism gets it done too. And so we want to really support this event for Healthy Heroes, and give commendations to Zach for sure, but he'll join in saying, okay, great, all that gratitude there is fine, but we want to make direct statements. So if you know teachers, if you know EMTs, or if you don't, reach out to your veteran service organization, reach out to the VA. Let your military know, you know, that you really support them, and it's healthy heroes. It's not hooray heroes. It's healthy heroes. So we want to aggregate and amass all the resources we can for the benefit of our heroes so that we can help keep them healthier. Because a lot of times these heroes sacrifice their own health to be of service the way they're of service. Sue and I have been on calls where it's like, oh my gosh, it's like 16 hours later and you're still on call. It's like there's a lot of finalization and there's a need. Like you can't vacate the scene, just because you're like ready to go back to your personal life. You don't go because the scene still needs you 16 hours later. And that's just our experience, much less what some of these heroes are doing. You hear in the health industry how they pull triple shifts and all the stuff to make sure we're taken care of. So tomorrow, February 22nd, unite with Zach and Santa and all the crew that this weekend we're taking care of our heroes. And if they're working, make sure to go right into their work and you thank them. If the firefighters, if they're on call, go to the firehouse, take them treats, get greeting
love that.
cards. Whatever, make them healthy, bring them apples and bananas and stuff like that, whatever. But let's load them up with love so that our heroes can be healthier tomorrow, February 22nd. Let's do it, folks.
Well, and Santa Papa John, I know you're very involved with what's all going on there. You want to add to what Kurt's mentioning here?
Just, people, we need to support this. This is such an amazing, great cause for so many different reasons. So many people are involved, so many people it affects. So donate, create, be a part of, share it, whatever it takes, get the word out about this amazing platform that Zach, this is year number 4, and each year is bigger, better than the previous one, because it is such a needed enlightenment, I guess is the word I could use to bring to the common masses on how important of a cause this truly is.
I love it.
Even throw some big words in there that Kurt wouldn't understand. So, I had to giggle on that.
Yeah, I'm going to Gemini and AI. What did Santa just say? Oh man, what a day!
But folks,
we live in today.
the realistic of Zach, what an brilliant, dedicated 22 hours he's going to be on the screen. 22 hours he's going to be providing programming, 22 hours that he's going to be bringing to light a serious cause that needs more than just talk. People need to act. People need to not even find a reason, find it in your heart to create the reason why you're going to do something to help these people out. It's so important. Our veterans are getting left behind, and they never should be. Our veterans are being looked over, and they never should be. And, like like Kurt said, the police, the firefighters, the EMTs, the people doing these jobs every day, and they have no outlet. They have nowhere to scream, holler, and cry. They have no one to reach out to. Let's help them find a outlet to whatever it takes. This is such an important reason. And these people have such a passion for doing and helping other people that they don't look for rewards. They don't look for medals and awards and this, that, and everything else. They just want to do their job because they have a serious passion to help other people. And it's pretty amazing. A lot of these people in these jobs, they're not in it because they make $200,000, $300,000, $400,000. Ha! They'd be loving if they made that kind of money, but they're doing it because they have a passion for the job to help other people. And we need to bring light to that exact scenario right there, because some of these people are hurting and we need to help them with many different ways and means and knowledge on how to address this. But nobody seems to be stepping up. So we're asking you people out there, help us. Kurt had in the chat all the links for tomorrow. This is so important. This is so easy to do. This is so simple to do that we need your help and we need numbers. So come on, people. This is going to be amazing. This is going to be fun. And we're going to even have some giggles and some laughter happening because Kurt's going to be on the screen, and we all know that. But you know, the fun thing is, folks, it's not always serious. It's not always about rolling the dice to say what's going to happen to someone next, because they couldn't find the services that they need. So important. And it's people like you, me, Sue, Sheila, Kurt, Marianne, anybody on the screen, everybody off the screen, to take 5, 10, 20 minutes, even an hour to come and join us tomorrow. It is that important. And we're all going to have some fun. We're all going to share some stories. We're all going to share some giggles and some laughter, because we all have a friend. We all have a family member that is in one of these positions. We've heard the stories. We've seen the look on their faces when they can't get the services. So how do we change that? We all participate and we all help out.
Yes. I love that. Thank you so much for what you're all doing with this big event. Kurt, over to you.
All right, so there's a little bit of a dynamic duo thing going on. Well, first of all, Zach and his wife for sure, but I guess then there's a third wheel maybe. Fun telling that to Mr. Z, Mr. Z from Z World Webs. I definitely want to give him a shout out because he's right there helping power the mission at Community Pay It Forward, and partnered up with the Claytons and all the partners at Community Pay It Forward. But I do want to give recognition to zworldcares.org. A good uplift for all the nonprofits out there. So if you know people that are nonprofit managers or volunteers with nonprofits, let's get this networked into the decision makers for being on this directory, the nonprofit directory, and then you can join as a nonprofit to be in this directory. And then speaking of directories, Santa, you're working on quite an imperative directory. Tell the world about your directory, Santa, because that's the one I really put
folks, we've all heard the stories. We've all seen the reality of family members dropping off senior members to nursing homes, senior care centers, and going, see you at your funeral. They never go back. They never visit. They never partake in family activities anymore. They don't take in anything that involves family. So I have created a 1-hour interactive reading session where I'm going to read stories to those residents, including group homes and group homes that support autistic children and adults. They need some giggles and laughs. And, I'm working with a gentleman from Scotland that we're working on some commercial to help some nonprofits raise some monies. But you know what, folks? If you know activity directors in nursing homes, senior care centers, yes, Storytime with Santa is a interactive 1-hour program to read stories, and they're not all Christmas stories. They're not all North Pole stories. They can be cookies. They can be elves. They can be, water skiing stories. They can be stories about anything and any time of the year, folks. It's all about interactive story time. And yes, every Wednesday night I read stories online for free, and many different posts about that. Thank you very much, Kurt. But yes, I do work with veterans as well. The Warriors Beacon of Hope is another website where I'm building a list of services, scholarships, meetings for our wonderful veterans. You can't go out and hunt down, I want to find a meeting for veterans in St. Louis. You can't find it because they don't list it. But if you know somebody in the club, the organization, the group, they'll tell you when the meetings are. So if you know those type of people that have services or meetings, scholarships. What about scholarships specifically set up for children of veterans? Well, folks, there are those kind of scholarships, and I have a listing for those as well. And it's about 95 scholarships so far, and that continues to build. But Santa's very proud to work for our veterans and help our veterans as well, and that's why this program with Zach tomorrow is so important. But you know what? I am hearing so much positive comments for this story time for nursing homes and senior care. People are going, this is so important, because those people forget to smile, giggle, and laugh because they get dumped into a situation that they don't want to be part of, and they have to make the best of what they've got. So, folks, I'm reading stories, and I'm having fun, and I'm creating some wonderful positive memories, some giggles and laughter to help those types of residents create some new wonderful memories. And folks, it's the feedback that I'm getting is absolutely 100% positive. So let me help your family by creating some stories. That's what I do. And this Santa, like the thing above my head says, I'm a storyteller. What a lost art. It truly is. And yes, Sue, I have been told by many people that people forget how to read. And reading out loud, what an amazing concept, what an amazing idea. And I think of mom and dad looking both down on me now and going, here's a young man that used to hate English, needed a tutor to get through grade 10 English, and now I'm reading stories and enjoying it and having so much fun creating some wonderful memories for people. So if you know a place that needs some storytelling, let's have a conversation. I'd love to create some wonderful stories for schoolrooms, group homes, senior care, nursing homes, anywhere that has residents that don't see a lot of the outside world.
Okay.
Nice meeting you, Sheila.
Yeah, Sheila, thank you so much for joining
Sheila?
us today.
Thank you. I just want to say that you're doing such a great, you're doing so many great services there, Santa Papa John. I mean, first with the veterans and then for the seniors living in the homes. I mean, that's incredible. Thank you for doing that, because truly both groups are forgotten. They're thrown away, and they shouldn't
are.
be.
Yeah,
They're thrown away. Yeah, it hurts my heart.
appreciate that.
You're welcome. All right. It was so good to be with you. I will see if I can get back here next week.
Awesome. I would
Awesome.
love that. It's always good to see you. Thank you so
Great.
much.
There you go. Nice meeting you.
Bye.
Take care.
And Mr.
All
Kurt,
right.
we'll have to connect again. I'll book
Yeah,
it.
let's do that. We're overdue. You bet.
Yes, we are. We are. Okay, talk soon. Bye.
You bet.
Thank you. So I know, Kurt, over to you. We do still have a chapter to read with Underwater Acts of Kindness today, too. But Kurt, go ahead.
I just, again, another recommendation towards Community Pay It Forward social media. Take a look here on Instagram. So if you're following Community Pay It Forward on Instagram, they've got a nice thing about tomorrow, 1 month only, actually first ever. So I'm trusting it's going to go really well, and we're probably on a trend here because Zach doesn't tend to run these things on weekends, but this 22-hour event is on weekend, and this is family networking. So we can connect on the video call. We did it on the 12th, but we're going to be back on tomorrow, February 22nd. Community Pay It Forward, come together. And so again, it's showing the 12th, but we're emphasizing the 22nd. And it's over on Facebook as well. Seeing the same message there. And I want people to go to this, not just for grabbing the information for themselves, but to share it. So you can see the write-up on it off to the right. And then also want to offer my phone number, my Google Voice line, to call and text me about anything with our program here at World of Ability Podcast, but certainly for the February 22nd event, my number is 262-372-1754. Call and text me, and then send the emails to me here at Spirit of the Game Foundation, Kurt, K-U-R-T, at spiritofthegame.org. And just one more quick little shout out to the Disability Channel, because again, we got an exciting year unfolding here with the Disability Channel, and World Ability Podcast and the World Ability Podcast Network is all wrapped up into it with our Ability MK Now show, the TDC Today community show, and then our creator Suzanne Plumley with the Aspie Bridge podcast. So things are on the grow here. And yes, let's get to the book club. Let's get to that reading.
I'll read it, Sue. It's okay. We're doing
Excellent.
chapter 10.
We are on chapter 10 today.
We are on chapter 10 today. And Marianne was hiding around back there, and she popped in to say hello. And Marianne's one of the writers, or the writer, I think, for this whole book and series. And she had a few people that helped her create the graphics to this wonderful book. Yes.
And I do have the book
we
trailer.
are
Would you like the book trailer first, or you want to dive in right away to this chapter?
You can do the trailer. How's that sound?
I will pull that up and we'll share that out, and then I'll dive right in. I'll pass it back to you then.
Okay.
What if you could help save the ocean just by listening to a story? Set sail with underwater acts of kindness. Join Noah, the hard-of-hearing humpback whale, and his marine friends as they take on the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. On their journey between Hawaii and California, they discover an enormous pile of plastic, but with teamwork and courage, they plan to clean it up. With the guidance of Dod General of the New Earth Army, they rally ocean creatures and you to help restore our seas. Now available on Amazon Audible, listen as author Marianne of Waikiki narrates this inspiring adventure, featuring mesmerizing music by Lucy and the Perfect Wave and Nick's guitar, echoing the sounds of whales and dolphins. This book is dedicated to Boyan Slat, founder of The Ocean Cleanup, making waves for a cleaner future. Sing along with Noah's song and dive into a world of peace, love, happiness, and thanks. After reading, visit the Acts of Kindness series YouTube channel for more adventures. Learn the ASL ABCS with Dr. Fingers, the fingerspelling hermit crab on YouTube, kids. Get coloring books now at www.actsofkindnessseries.com and Amazon. Plus, grab your New Earth Army t-shirt and pledge to protect our planet. Underwater Acts of Kindness by Marianne of Waikiki. Available now on Amazon, Audible, and actsofkindnessseries.com.
Excellent. Well, and Santa, I will pass it over to you.
Awesome. That was pretty cool. All right. We are on chapter 10 today, folks. Woohoo! If you haven't caught it, pick up your copy of the book and get your own so you can follow along. While Noah and Alpha take part in the General's mission, Beta and Splash remain in the waters near the Ship Shape Hospital. Say that quick 3 times. And clinic. Splash turns to Beta when they are alone. I'm happy to have this time together so that I can learn from you. I feel there is so much I need to know about being a mother, she confides. My dear, don't you fret. It will all come very naturally to you, Beta assures her. The most important thing is to remember is that you will be the child's first experience of love. That's very comforting, Splash Size. You will receive and nurture your child in a circle of love, and eventually that precious bond that you and Noah have created with your baby will grow bigger. Your child will embrace family, friends, and self, and then expand the circle even more by finding a significant partner. Together, the two of them will learn to serve their community just like you and Noah are doing, Beta tells her. That reminds me, tomorrow the patients will be transferred to their new clean water tank, Splash said. I'm so excited to see the smiles on their faces. The next day, a colorful trumpet fish announces the opening of the hospital's first peace, love, happiness, and thanks clean underwater aquariums. We are proud to welcome our first residents. Please enter and take a freshwater refreshing. My name's Kurt. And he calls out as hundreds of patients from the Ship-Shape Hospital and Clinic leave their crowded quarters behind and submerge themselves in the pristine crystal waters of the tanks. A healing circle of angelfish surrounds the tanks and blesses them. May this be a sanctuary to all who enter. May you grow strong and mighty and live free from illness and pain. And may the day come soon when you once again live in clean, abundant ocean, vibrant and full of life. Music plays while dozens of silly clownfish entertain the new residents. They blow bubbles, sing songs, and make funny faces. Their delightful pranks in the tank soon have young and old giggling and wiggling. King Octo and Raymar beam with pride. We'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsors. Without their help, this world would not have many achieved. King Octo and Raymar announced the names of the many donors who helped to finance the undertaking. Each comes forward to take a bow. Miss Shell O'Clama, Sandy and Rocky Bottoms, Jeffy the Harper Pub. New words. I'm just learning them, folks. Pub Seal, Captain Lungs, who gives out hugs and says no to drugs, Effie the Hunky Monk Seal, Mrs. Connie O'Hay from Calaho, and Natalie Nautilus, the audiologist. Wow, there's some big words there, folks, that even Kurt will understand. There is a great fanfare of each of the honorees receive applause, accolades, and a gold starfish. Kurt, you don't have your gold starfish on. Oh, no. Oh, but he's got the puppets happening. There you go. Beta and Splash watch the festivities and are touched by the large parade of friends, parents, siblings, relatives, and supporters who have assembled. How can we ever thank you, they say to Beta and Splash. We look forward to the day when our families are healthy and reunited again, others tell them. Oh, I so wish Noah could see this, Splash said. It would bring him such joy. I wonder how far he and Alpha are on their mission, said Beta. King Octo and Raymar overheard the women talking. I believe there's an old radio inside the clinic, Raymar said. It hasn't worked for years, but if we can fix it, we'll be able to broadcast the news to everyone. Raymar and King Octo work on repairing the old radio and are successful at tuning into a station. They turn up the volume so that everybody can hear the crackling voice of a news reporter as she begins to describe the events of the day. Aloha, everyone. This is Ann Clovey reporting live from aboard the Acts of Kindness. Today we are witnessing an unprecedented event. Unlike anything we have ever seen, large numbers of whales, turtles, and dolphins are forming a chain of synchronized swimmers as they head from Hawaii towards the west coast to raise awareness about the danger of plastic debris in the oceans. Here with me is Marianne of Waikiki, captain of the Acts of Kindness. She and dozens other boats are escorting this amazing legion. Marianne, where is everybody headed? Aloha, Annie. We're headed from northeast to the Pacific Traps vortex, especially to the East Pacific Gyre. Right now, approximately 1,000 whales, turtles, and dolphins are making this journey, and we expect thousands more to join in as they are called to action along the way, says Marianne. How impressive! Can you tell us more about the garbage patch and why plastic presents such a danger to the oceans and marine life? Anne Clovey asks. And plastic is the waste product that nature cannot process. According to the Agilita Marine Research and Education Foundation, every year about 8 million tons of plastic enters the ocean in the form of plastic bags, packaging, water bottles, foam cups, and other human debris. Even cigarette lighters, toothbrushes, and toys are swirling in these gyres. The amount of plastic polluting the global oceans is staggering, and it is expected to double in the next 10 years. Not a good situation, folks. Wow, those numbers are hard to digest, no pun intended, said Anne. Indeed, plastic is impossible to digest. It affects more than 600 species of marine animals, fish, sea turtles, and birds mistake plastic floating in the ocean and on the shorelines for food, Marianne explains, and many get tangled up in the plastic waste. What exactly is a gyre? Anne asked. Ocean currents formed by wind patterns and the rotation of the planet create a circular motion known as a gyre or vortex, and they trap the plastic debris in a big swirl. Captain Charles J. Moore discovered one of these large floating islands of plastic trash while returning to California after attempting in the Transparc sailing race in 1997, said Marianne. Folks, we will be following this critical story and keeping you posted on all the events as these determined swimmers make their way to the coast of California, bringing their message to the governments of the world. I'll be coming to you live again next week when we arrive at the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. Until then, this is Anne Clovey. How exciting, Splash said. Thank you, Raymar and King Octo, for getting that radio to work. I can't wait to hear the next report. The residents of the Peace, Love, Happiness, and Thanks tanks cheer simultaneously, slapping their tails and clapping their fins in a grand gesture of approval. Yippee! Splash, tomorrow I would like us to begin our swim to the big island of Hawaii, said Beta. Is it there that you will give birth? In a special place along the coast where hot volcanic lava runs into the sea. These waters are warm and comforting, which will help ease your labor. This is where I gave birth to Noah. He and Alpha will meet us there when we return. Ladies, it would be our pleasure to escort you to the big island, said King Octo and Raymar, and we'll take the radio with us so we can stay posted on the good news. Splendid, said Splash. And that is chapter 10 of the Underwater Acts of Kindness book, written by Marianne of Waikiki. Let's give her a big round of applause. Yay! But you know,
Yippee!
The sad truth is humans love to throw away trash, and they throw away plastic in the wrong places. It ends up in the ocean. And yes, this is starting to become more and more prevalent. And it is a really sad state of affair. Our oceans are in such bad, what's the word I should use? Fish-tastical irresponsibility of causing a lot of damage to fish and wildlife. So we all need to do our part and say we can do better. We need to clean these up. And it starts with you throwing your garbage away in the proper places.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Marianne, do you have any words you want to add?
I'll send you my bill.
Just tears of joy. Thank you, Santa Papa John. And, you know, you were talking about volunteering at hospitals and seniors. You know, we did that at the Unity Church of Hawaii. We did that on a Saturday. I went around with the puppets. This was before I wrote the books, but just as entertainment, and I could sign with them. I had the chicken puppet. So, yes. And this is perfect timing because we're all talking about volunteering and doing that. And thank you. I'm taking some screenshots here that we can show Folk Manus puppets that, you know, we are showcasing these amazing puppets and we want to do more. And my vision is to bring them into animation movies with sign language characters, and no one has done that. And this is what's happening in our real world. So this is divine, perfect timing for you to read the chapters. And they're talking about, you know, the fish in the shipping clinic who are being affected by the ocean. And, you know, the children, as we joke, say want to be back in their fish school. And so this is just perfect timing talking about taking care of, you know, our hospitals, our veterans, our seniors, and, you know, giving, you know, a beautiful quality of life. And we want to get these books out there to the world. And all classroom teachers can receive copies of the books from donorschoose.org. That's donorschoose.org. And so go out and play is our tagline. Great reading. I just have a couple of funs and puns I got to share with you because, yes, there are a lot of words in there. And it's Miss Connie is her name, and she's from Kaneohe. Kaneohe, clap your snap, clap a snap, Kaneohe. But Kaneohe is where the military is. A lot of military family lives and the Marines. So that's a fun and pun on the joke of the name, but that's for recognizing where the military families are as well. Also, Miss Michelle, it's Michelle Oklama, as in Michelle Obama. Okay, Marilyn Rogers was a special ed teacher. She gave me that idea to use Michelle Oklama. And
Cute.
you know, President Obama and was around Kaneohe. That's where he came to visit and resides and everything like that. So those are some educational learning things. Yes, they're kind of big words, but and the interviewee, okay, Santa Papa John, her name is Anchovy.
So I said anchovy.
Okay. See, her name is Anchovy, like an anchovy.
Very cute.
So
love
we
it.
again, that's been creative fun. That Suzanne Sims, my writer, I'm the creator because I brought the ideas, the concept, the sign language. I lived on the sailboat experiencing this garbage floating around. And Suzanne Sims' first husband, the late Colonel James Shannon, they did magazines and advertising business over on the Big Island. And he was the inspiration for the movie Men Who Stare at Goats for the military with George Clooney. So this is a big impact to talk about military families, what's going on, ocean cleanup. And we created the New Earth Army, which we'll be discussing in the next chapter. So
Thank you
this is
so much,
Awesome,
Marianne.
awesome.
And thank you for the reading, Papa John. That is beautiful. And Kurt for showing, both guys for showing the puppets on here. And I know we actually have some new music to add to the mix here today. And I'm actually going to say my thank yous first, and then I'll end with the music that was sent and created. Actually, Marianne, you want to tell us what the music is all about?
well, in the book, we have Noah's song. And this is a song that Brennan, anybody could do it. We had it in the book. We made a little flyer that schools, anybody, or the music departments could make your own tempo, sing your own lyric, not lyrics, but your own voice quality and tempo. And this is what Brennan created for us, our new friend with the sound crystal bowls, as a message and vision that, you know, we have this in animation movies. So this is contestant number one, I want to say. So anybody else can continue to do it. We got Don that does music. We got other people who may want to sing this song, but we can continue to make it roll. But this was a gift from Brennan. And thank you again, Santa Papa John and Sue and Kurt and Jay Stoyan of the Disability Channel. Aloha, I'm Marianne of Waikiki.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Marianne. Any last words from either Santa Papa John or Kurt before I bring the music up? All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and say my massive thanks to everybody who's joined us here today. What an incredible community we have. I am forever grateful. And for all of us here with World of Ability podcast, again, I'm going to go ahead and play this song to close us up. But as always, we thank you.
Your plastic poisonous is causing pain and stress. It's robbed us of our health and the oceans of its wealth. Got you hear us crying. The oceans, they are dying. Send your help this way. Hurry, don't delay. Oh, land dwellers, hear our call. Oh, walking ones, we need you all. Please send your help this way. Hurry, and don't delay.
Wow.
Excellent. And again, for all of us here with the World